You've been told to honor your feelings, to wait for motivation, to move when inspiration hits. But here's the truth no one says out loud. Wealth doesn't wait for your mood. Success doesn't check in with your emotions before it moves. It rewards action, not feelings. And mood. Honestly, it's a terrible boss. There will be days when your mind starts feeding you excuses. Tomorrow will be better. I need to recharge. I'm just not at my best today. And every time you listen to that voice, you make it stronger. Bit by bit, hesitation turns into habit. So how do people quietly lose their future? Not in one big crash, but through small, repeated inaction. A call you didn't make, a decision you delayed, a task you avoided because you didn't feel ready. That's how it slips away. Here's the real deal. Feelings come and go. Discipline sticks. If you only move when you feel motivated, you're handing your future over to luck. But the person who acts no matter what, they build momentum that feelings can't stop. And let's clear something up. Momentum isn't magic, it's mechanical. The moment you start moving, even a little, resistance starts fading. Your mind hates starting more than it hates continuing. Once you begin, the work usually feels easier than you imagined. But this is where most people mess up. The first move has to happen before the feeling changes. You can't wait for clarity. You can't wait for certainty. And you definitely can't wait to feel like it. Action creates the shift you're looking for. Think about it. How often does your energy suddenly show up after you start? How quickly does doubt fade once you're actually doing the work? That's not random. That's a rule. Action reshapes your thinking. Stay still and your mind amplifies discomfort. Start moving and everything recalibrates. Tasks shrink. Problems feel manageable. Confidence comes back, not because you felt ready, but because you moved anyway. Now, here's the hidden danger. Putting mood above mission. Mood is influenced by everything: sleep, distractions, comparison, fear. It changes constantly. If your productivity depends on something that's unstable, your results will be just as shaky. But mission, that stays fixed. Your purpose doesn't disappear just because you're tired or discouraged. It's still there, waiting for you to step up. The disciplined person asks a different question. Not, how do I feel? But, what needs to get done? That one shift changes everything. No more negotiating. No more excuses. Just action. And yeah, forcing yourself might sound tough. But here's the truth. Every time you push past resistance, you take control of your mind. Control builds confidence. Confidence builds speed. Speed creates opportunity. And opportunity, that's where success stacks up. Let's be real. You won't always feel powerful. You won't always feel inspired. Some days, doubt will hit hard. The difference is, disciplined people don't let those days control them. Mood says rest. Mission says rise. Mood says wait. Mission says start. Mood says later. Mission says now. That's the gap between people who drift and people who dominate. In this breakdown, you're starting to see how momentum actually works. How to move when emotions say stop. How to break inertia fast, and how to train your mind to follow commands instead of comfort. But before anything else, lock this in. Motivation is unreliable. Discipline is king. The moment you learn to act before you feel like it, you unlock something most people never experience. You stop depending on outside energy and start creating it through action. That's where momentum begins. Not with hype, not with inspiration, but with one decision to move. Now let's get into a truth most people avoid. You've been trained to check your feelings before your responsibilities. You've been told to wait for the right moment, to act when you're energized and pause when you're not. Sounds nice, right? But it slowly destroys your self-control. Mood is unstable. It shifts with sleep, food, conversations, even random memories. Half the time, it has nothing to do with your actual goals. So if your productivity depends on that, your results will always be inconsistent. But your mission, that doesn't change. A real purpose doesn't disappear just because you're tired. It doesn't fade because you're discouraged. It stays, waiting for action. The person who waits to feel ready gives up control. Every morning becomes a negotiation with emotion. And when emotion says no, everything gets delayed. And here's the tricky part. It sounds logical. Tomorrow will be better. I need the right mindset. I'm not at my peak today. Individually, they sound smart. Together, they create a life of delay, and delay doesn't show up dramatically. It's subtle. A missed call, an unwritten page, a postponed move. Years pass like this quietly. Look at history. People who carried massive pressure but still acted. They didn't wait to feel good. They just moved. That's why consistency builds trust. People rely on those who show up regardless of mood, not because they're always excited, but because they're steady. And steady wins long term. Think about it. 10 years can disappear just waiting to feel ready. 20 waiting for clarity. 30 waiting for motivation that never comes. So switch the question. Stop asking, how do I feel? Start asking, what needs to be done? That question removes emotion from the driver's seat. Some mornings will feel heavy. Get up anyway. Some afternoons will feel hard. Keep going anyway. Some nights will whisper, quit, ignore it and continue. Every time you act through resistance, you get stronger mentally. Every time you give in, you weaken that control. Self-discipline isn't built in big moments. It's built in small daily choices. So when mood says stop, but your mission says go, you already know what to choose, because every choice stacks. Your mind is always watching what you do. If you only act when it's comfortable, it learns comfort is required. But if you act no matter what, it learns that action is the rule. And that's when everything changes. Tell yourself daily, my mission runs the show, not my mood. I act on purpose, not preference. I move whether I feel ready or not. Repeat it until it becomes automatic. Because at the end of the day, mood is just a tool. It was never meant to lead you. And the real difference between people who stay stuck and people who rise, it's simple. They choose purpose over preference every single time.